Oh, good afternoon or good evening if you're in the USA, and if you are overseas, it's already Super Saturday morning, and we welcome everybody. Happy Good Friday. I am actually Bruce, aka the guy in the blue shirt, and my method is simpler, faster, better. And interesting enough, somebody said to me the other day, "So you're a process fixer." So I love that simple word for a big topic. So, welcome, Marcy, all the way from Florida. Look at her beautiful backdrop.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so Marcy, give us a little bit of a rundown of you, and then we'll come circle back around and talk a little bit about how we met and what we're going to do.
Well, I am the Director of Community Association Relations for Hotwire Communications.
Mm-hmm.
I've been involved in the community association management industry for over 20 years. I've earned the highest designations in the industry, and I love teaching. I'm also an adjunct professor at Palm Beach State College. I'm finalizing the curriculum to teach the pre-community association management license course.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also on the board of directors of my community where I live here in Weston, Florida. I've lived here for over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a contributing writer for the Florida Community Association Journal. And I could just go on and on. I mean, I am just so delighted to be here today. And I am very involved in mentoring, and I love paying it forward.
Yeah, and you are an amazing ambassador for not only that initiative, but all the things that you do. And if you are watching, just to let everybody know, unless you say hi or something, we don't know you're watching. And then sometimes, even if you say hi, I can't see the comments. So, couple of caveats. I can't control the StreamYard software. I've tried before, but it doesn't want to play with me sometimes. So even this process fixer can't fix their process sometimes, which is a bummer. But yes, so a little context about how we met. I know we started to cross communicate through other people's posts and comments, and then we decided that maybe there was enough in common that we should jump offline and do a Zoom call. And I clearly remember our short Zoom call went pretty long. So that was awesome, and it's a testament to you because of all the things that you do. And what was really interesting is we ended up realizing we'd done so many things that are very similar that we're actually more alike than we're disalike. So I know we could have talked for hours and hours on that evening, so it was pretty cool. And hey, Jeff, I was just telling you about my new connection, Jeff, Marcy, and true to his word, he jumped on. How about that? Thank you, Jeff. So I know the comments are showing up this week on StreamYard, so great.
Well, it's great to meet you, Jeff, from Florida. Always great to meet another Floridian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would be a great person for you to meet, particularly if you're going to be more up towards his area. That would be pretty cool. Where are you heading next Tuesday? You say you're going to go to teach and mentor, right? Somewhere?
I'll be teaching in Vero Beach. I'll be
Oh, Vero.
teaching. Yes. The
Hey,
yeah.
hey, you might get a new beach buddy. Yeah, so I know one of your passions is paying it forward and also building community, not only in terms of your professional role, but you do a lot of stuff, particularly with being a mentor, but also being a mentee. So tell us a little bit about, how did that passion come about, Marcy? What were the main points that drove that passion home for you?
Well, I would say many years ago, over 30 years ago,
Hmm.
my husband and I've been married 36 years, and
Oh.
as we were raising our young children, we were looking for a place to live that would be, in the suburbs of Fort
Uh-huh.
Lauderdale. And it was exciting to have the opportunity to investigate all the communities that were being built. And we
Hmm.
just happened to choose one, which is Weston, which
Right.
looks a lot like Disney World because it was built by Arvida. And
Oh, okay. Cool.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's very well manicured and it's very well run. So I got involved in my association. And
Mhm.
as I was getting involved in my association, a lot of the board of directors that were involved in the community needed to learn about, what is it like to be a board member.
Right.
So I decided to work with a friend of mine and who also decided to get her CAM license. And
Mhm.
she and I both got heavily involved in education and bringing in experts such as CPAs, attorneys, landscapers, discussing everything and anything about community and putting on these in-person classroom sessions.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's how it all started. And basically, and it just took off. And then I became involved in my children's PTA. And, I had a real strong passion for people
Mhm.
and community because my father owned retail businesses, and being on the board of directors, having my thirst for education, I pursued the highest designations in the industry, and I decided to advance my education and get involved in managing associations.
Yeah, awesome. So yes, I recall now in our Zoom call, and Jeff just said he's in Parkland, Florida. So not sure if you know that area, but I know you know a lot of communities through
Mhm.
all of the work you do, both professionally and for your personal passion. So cool. So maybe you
I
guys
will.
can.
I will be in Parkland tomorrow visiting my sister.
No way.
Yes.
How about that? Oh, I just love it. LinkedIn lives are always unexpected. You never know who you can connect the dots for, and that's part of being a process fixer, right? I fix up getting people to meet each other. Yeah, so it was interesting because you talked about you teaching particularly HOA board members to be good board members, and I know I shared with you I had two almost 5-year stints of being HOA president on two different HOAs, homeowners associations, one in Dallas and then one in Santa Clarita Canyon Country. So yes, it's no easy feat coaching and mentoring because it's a volunteer organization, right? All the board members don't get paid predominantly, and it's all volunteerism. So us,
Well, it's
yeah,
it's 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 a tough position, and they say it's a thankless job.
it
But
is.
I believe that in order to survive, you really have to educate yourself, and you
You
have
do.
to build relationships. It's all about teamwork,
Yeah.
customer service, being professional,
Hmm.
thinking about what's best for everybody, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because I used to end up trying to facilitate some of that, particularly when the board members were not always in agreement, which, of course, never happens, right? I mean, they never got off track with each other, right? So
Yeah, it's sometimes it's difficult to stick to the agenda.
it is very difficult to stick to the agenda. So, but what was a tip that I used to find helpful, and I know we chatted about this, but other people that might be listening in, if you are listening in, please at least say hi, because Marcy and I have no clue that you're listening in unless you say hi. But I always used to have a very simple couple of things to get it back on track, and it was okay. We need to think safety first, right? So if you think safety first, and what I meant by that is, are we looking at something that could harm somebody or damage the reputation of the homeowners association, or make the lifestyle of the members of the homeowners association in that community diminish in some way? So it was always safety first. And then the decision making process was the reverse of that, which is okay, are we going to make a decision that might actually put safety at risk? So that always used to help kind of bring, it's like herding cats sometimes, right? It used to be, I used to be a professional cat herder sometimes. So
Well, especially now with the situation that happened at Champlain Towers,
right.
there's a lot more legislation
Yeah.
that is forcing board members to have to spend a lot of money to set aside reserves to be able
Hmm.
to maintain their buildings and their properties, and also that they're able to perform the repairs and maintenance that's necessary rather than kick the can down the road or do what's
Right.
popular, like decorating the clubhouse or the lobby.
Yeah, and that was always interesting when we used to do line by line budget review. And it's funny, I used to have a colleague, she was really good at the numbers, but I used to be good at staying with the intention, right? So, and again, the intention was, okay, we need to do safety first. And once we've done that, and then it was always amazing, like, okay, well, we need to do this and this project, and then people will come up with all these elaborate ways to get to that outcome. And I just, because I'm an operational streamlining guy, I used to let them talk, and I used to say, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we use some tape or some rope or some paint instead of putting up, iron fences, and the cost of that's a 20th or a 30th of the cost, right? And people used to get kind of frustrated at me, but it's like, and they say, well, I don't know what I mean. It won't look pretty. And it's like, well, it doesn't have to look pretty. It has to be functional, and we have to stick within our budget. So, what do you want to do?
Exactly. Well, I talk a lot about that in my book that I released.
Yes. Do you have it there? Show the
I
book.
sure do.
Come on. All right. Now, upright. Can't see it. Oh, look at that. Hey, I love the color, the cover color. What made you choose that?
Well, I think blue is very
Yeah,
calming,
it is.
and I wear a lot of blue and
Yeah,
black and common sense community management. So
right.
it just
So,
seemed to flow well.
yeah, throw that into the comments after when you get the replay, if you could. And then, hello, LinkedIn user. I'm not sure who LinkedIn user is. So if you are a LinkedIn user, you will need to go look at your visibility settings, because there's a special visibility setting so that your name shows up when you're on a live stream. Unless you want to be incognito, but it's okay.
So talking about pay it forward, how it all started was
Yeah.
many, many years ago. I was at Palm Beach Condo Fest, and I ran into the publisher of an industry publication that I now write for. And that
Hmm.
all started when I had communicated with him that I started journaling all of my experiences, because sitting in a class for 2 days and
Right.
getting a license and then you call yourself a manager really doesn't prepare you for this industry. So I decided to start journaling, and I wanted to give back. And
Hmm.
that was my way of giving back. He said to me, why don't you send me some of the articles that you've written? Because I was writing a lot of articles for newsletters, for local community publications, and for the condominiums newsletter. And then he loved what I was writing about. And he said, this can be really helpful. Like, how do you prepare for a concrete restoration
Yeah.
project
Yep.
from
Big
start to
time.
finish, right? So this book has been so he going in reverse here. So he put me on the cover of the magazine back in 2004 and said, Marcy Kravitz, pay it forward. And that's how it all started. And then this book is actually a compilation of all the articles that I've written since 2004.
Amazing. What a depth. All right. I'm going to put this, I don't usually put on screen. Do you recognize this person? This is LinkedIn user. So I'm trying to fathom out if we know who it is. So anyway, if you are
Oh,
LinkedIn.
absolutely. She is the queen of kindness in Boca.
Queen of kindness in Boca. Okay.
Hi,
Well,
Shelley. It's great to see you.
all right. Okay, Shelley. Yeah. So
Shelley's
in your
actually sat through some of my classes and earned her CEUs. She's earned her stripes, and she's also a pioneer in the industry.
Okay. Well, Boca Raton is a great place to pioneer from, right? I have fond memories going to Boca Raton when I used to
I mean, I
be.
don't know anyone else that's as passionate and driven and motivated than me. But Shelley, I would say she's right there, right
Okay.
alongside.
Well, I recently interviewed Cindy Cohn, who's the queen of joy. So she's pretty passionate as well. And one of my besties is Tisha Marie Pelletier, and she's definitely very passionate and high geared. And again, Jeff and I have had some interesting conversations over the last couple of weeks, and we got connected through a mutual connection, Charlene Nichols, and Charlene is definitely very passionate. So, hey, all right, Yolanda Chin. I met Yolanda again last week when I was in Dallas. So Yolanda is a Dallas-based wonderful connection. So when you're next back in Dallas, Miss
Hello,
Marcy.
Yolanda. I will be in Dallas May 17th through the 19th for the Community Associations Institute annual conference.
All right. Well, be sure to drop that in the comments. Again, Yolanda is a wonderful lady and very astute. And she actually, after we met, and actually behind me is the little visual from my virtual reality store, Connect Shop Play. And I showed a little bit of it to Yolanda to help answer some of her questions. And bless her heart, the following day after, she did a post for me. It's like, wow, like, so great example, about when you pay it forward, you will get people pay it forward for you as well. And so talk a little bit about that from your perspective and how that helps you continue to build your community, Marcy.
Well, I truly value meeting people as I go around and doing these book signings, and
Right.
I'm going to all the properties that my company services. And we bought a bunch of books to hand out to managers because those managers, they have a tough time when it
They
comes to
do.
managing communities. It's not an easy task, and they're always having to put others first. And
Yeah.
they're servant leaders. I mean, they need to prioritize what their needs are, and they're always having to look out for the well-being of others. They're always putting others first.
Yep.
And so in order to do that, you have to gain the residents' trust. So,
Yep.
I mean, that's essential for any business relationship.
Right.
And your customers, who are your residents, they have to have confidence in your product, which basically is serving the needs of the community. And they need to know that you're going to deliver what you
Yeah.
promised.
Yeah, and it's a pretty tough environment, as you said, not only for the community manager but all the support staff, because there's nothing more emotionally triggered than where my home is, right, or where my heart or home is, and so it's not always like dealing with other similar problems because of the emotional intensity, right? If somebody's got water coming through the ceiling, that's pretty devastating into their home. It happened to me once on the HOA, and the guy was out of town, so his bath decided to, or his bath, cold feed to the bath decided to break, and we had no key to get in, so his bath water or bath was running into my condo for 3 days until somebody eventually broke into his unit and turned the water off. So
Oh my,
very
I have memories of that. And it always happens on a Friday at 4 o'clock or over the
correct.
weekend.
Weekend. It was Saturday morning. I woke up and I thought, that's weird. I thought the toilet flapper would, how the toilet flapper will run sometimes. And I thought, that's weird. There's a lot of, and I opened the bathroom door, which was below his bathroom, and I got almost swept off my feet with all the water that came through the bathroom door. It was, oh, not a
I
good
had a
sign.
situation where a pipe burst, and it
Hmm.
was on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, my
So
Lord.
I
Well,
had to roll up my sleeves, put on my boots, and get a mop. And it was just me and the board of directors and the maintenance guy.
right. Yep.
And we had to use a shop vac until the restoration company arrived on Thanksgiving. Try to find a company that you could rely on.
Yeah, we had a few moments like that, but on the flip side of that, so we were talking about budget and safety, and I don't know if any of your associations have done this, but we used to do a community day where we would have some food that people could grill at the pool area, and then we would invite all the residents to come do a cleanup day, and all the residents used to have an opportunity to engage in making their community even more beautiful without spending budget money to do that. So I don't know if you've ever done that, but that was fun, and that used to bond the people that cared more about the community together anyway, which are the ones, at the end of the day, those are the ones that you want in your community, right? The ones that care. So
Absolutely. So it's funny you say that, Bruce, because I did have a community where there were a group of people, there the naysayers that were always complaining,
yeah.
and so we decided to put together a beautification committee, and we recruited all of them to be on that beautification committee. And
Yeah.
not only did we do that, we had, they would complain about the flowers around the fountain. So we said, we're going to have um, a beautification landscape day, and anybody that wants to come and pitch in, they
Yeah.
can. And prior to, they can select the color of the flowers and the type of flowers.
Yeah. And the pattern, I remember that. We actually,
Yeah.
people were always complaining about distribution of plants. And that was one of the things we did. I said, okay, we actually split up, I think we split it up into 8 or 10 zones. And from all the people that came, we put 2 or 3 people in each zone and said, how about it? Here are the guidelines so we don't violate any of the HOA, constitution rules. And it was interesting to see how they changed the patterns of just the plants or the order, and and we ended up actually saving money because they actually ended up planting less than we would have had the landscape gardener plant, right?
Well,
So
saving money is always a good thing.
saving money and keeping it safe, and then stopping the naysayers, because they can grind you down. They can wear you out in a hurry for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, it creates a sense of unity in the community. And
Unity to
unity is the
community.
word in community, right?
Yeah, that's right. Why not? All right, so talk to us a little bit about your joy for mentoring, because the last time we spoke, we played with this little hashtag, Marcy the Mentor. So what has Marcy the Mentor got going on other than your adjunct teaching at the university?
So I've been writing articles, like I said, since 2004. And now that I have this book, it's a compilation of articles. I've been writing um, not even about management. I've been talking about just people skills. I'm
Right.
getting all kinds of, I mean, I had an attorney text me the other day and told me basically that he's having a situation where there's a manager that's bullying
Oh,
not just him, but like the residents. I've never heard of that before. I mean, I know that there's residents that bully the manager.
yeah.
So I had, but not all residents, it's just during the pandemic, a lot of people went through, it was a scary time, and a lot of people were homebound. And so there were a lot of situations that I think came out of the pandemic, good and bad.
Hmm.
But I decided that I was going to put together a class managing the people, the property, and the politics.
Hmm.
And I did a webinar a couple weeks ago, and I had 245 people on the webinar. 400
Wow.
had registered.
Wow. You go, Marcy the Mentor.
Thank you. And not only that, I had the opportunity to go out to California, and I talked to a lot of managers out there, and they're also experiencing a lot of the same situations.
Yeah.
And they've asked me to put together some classes for them as well. And there's a magazine that is there's an industry publication through the CAI, and they also featured my article on bullying. So if
Mm.
I can if I can change one person's life, if I can help give them some tips and tricks on how to handle a situation, then that makes me feel really good. It's super gratifying,
Yeah.
because when you do something nice for someone when they least expect it, or you just write something that you've experienced and you share it with someone, then they're gaining the knowledge, and then they'll think twice before they react and possibly be able to handle a situation in a better
Yeah.
way than before they learned that tip and trick from you.
Sure. What a great way to use the power of your book as well. You can personalize some signed copies of your book as not only recognition, but maybe as a like a toolbox or a toolkit that they can refer to, because yeah, it's funny, we're more alike than we are disalike, but we don't always give each other credit for that, right? So
Absolutely. And one of the things that I have to give credit to is the course How to Win Friends and Influence People.
oh
And if
yeah,
you haven't read the book,
Dale Carnegie. Yeah.
highly recommend it.
Hmm.
I did take the course from Dale Carnegie when I was
Hmm.
18 years old. My father was very adamant about, I don't care how many college courses you take, but I want you to take How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it
Yeah.
stuck with me throughout my career. In fact, let me show you something.
Okay, go for it. Yeah. All right, the hot wire lady's gone behind her background. All right.
So I still carry this little golden book.
Oh my goodness, the golden book. I'd forgotten about that one. That's
Yeah, it's
amazing.
pretty. I mean, I've stapled it together. It's
It's
I,
pretty got some road miles on that one, Marcy.
yeah. So I love it because it talks about don't criticize, condemn, or complain.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
guilty, sometimes guilty. Usually when I'm tired or stressed out, that's when I flip to that. But yes, it's
number two is give honest, sincere appreciation.
hmm.
And what I like about number four is become genuinely interested in other people.
Yeah. Yeah, if you and that kind of goes on to, other Stephen Covey always says, seek to understand before you can be understood. And I'm reminded of this like 6 to 8 times a day on LinkedIn. One of my pet peeves is all the people that pitch slap me 6 to 8 times a day. They offer me this, that, Tom Cobley, the kitchen sink, and it's like, and I try and give them one nice message back, which is refrain from pitching your services to strangers, and or refrain from just offering your services until you got to seek to understand. And if you don't seek to understand, number one, you're wasting a lot of your time, but more importantly, you're frustrating people like me right off the get-go. And I don't play I don't play ball in that ballpark anymore. It's like, if you can't at least review my profile a little bit, at least, and then they'll say to me, well, what do you do? And it's like,
Mhm.
you know, why don't you read my about section or go watch some of my live streams? Or, I find it fascinating that people, they want to waste your time answering the very simplest question, which is our LinkedIn profile gives us a lot of tooling to be able to share a lot of information about ourselves and what we do and how we do it best. It's
Well,
amazing.
but you're absolutely right. And a lot of people, they just think about, what can I do to gain your business? But really, if you become a better listener and listen to others and not become judgmental and be open to value other people's opinions and their thoughts and have a better understanding of others
Yeah.
and research them, learn about them, listen to what they're saying and ask the questions,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the way you build those personal professional relationships, by having a better understanding and understanding their needs and what their perspectives are. And being in community association world, you have to listen
Oh my
as
God.
much as you want to talk back to them
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yep. I've been there, done that. Made lots of mistakes there. Was
Oh, I've got Yolanda saying, yes, we are more alike than we are alike. And oh, my colleague is
yeah.
on. My
Grant is on.
fellow professional community association manager, Grant Gorski's here,
Yeah. Hey,
saying,
Grant.
you are amazing. No, Grant, you are amazing.
I bet Grant could tell us some real skinny about you, but we'll let him. We'll let him say whatever he wants to share. But yes, you are amazing, and
Thank you.
also, so you have a guest who's a regular fan of mine, BB. And interesting enough, my nickname is BB with B&B. She's all the way from Singapore. So you have made reach to Singapore, Miss Marcy, tonight. or
Oh
tomorrow
my,
morning. How about that?
hello, BB, and it's so nice to meet you. And Singapore is on my bucket list. I had just returned from Thailand. My daughter lives in Bangkok,
Uh-huh.
and she's been living there for the last 3 years. And she lived in Korea for 5, and she just loves the Asian culture.
Right.
And I learned and I studied Buddhism when I was over
Oh,
there.
okay. Well, cool. Yeah, BB, I'm going to be going to Singapore sometime in October. And then from there, I'm going to go to Kuala Lumpur to spend some time with Ferling Quang. And it was Ferling Quang's series of live streams that we came up with the term Live Life Young. And then late last year, we added daily in recognition of a couple of mutual connections, Russ Hedge and Greg Gower, who had announced they had cancer. So we decided live life young daily, and that's been my motto going into 2023. And live life young daily, we talked offline, is about, going to see the people that you want to be in, you want to jive with. I call them build your jive hive, and the jive hive will lead to biz besties. And once you get your biz besties, you will never look back, ever.
Bruce, you've built a forum for people to build meaningful connections and foster those connections, and you've really nurtured them, and the people around you. You're like a magnet. I see you traveling, and you're surrounded by all these people that have become members of your community because
Yeah.
you're doing positive things, and you are showing that you genuinely care, and you're offering support. You're investing in those meaningful relationships, and that's what makes strong social connections.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for recognizing that. And but the best thing for me is I get energized by other people's energy. So I get to sit with, talk with, break bread with, or in this case earlier this week, chocolate martinis with, which I've never had before. They were delightful, but I get to meet the best people on the planet. I mean, it's unbelievable because the people that are willing to give up their time and meet in a location with this digital stranger, I mean, they're just the best people. And like Monday, it was supposed to be 90 minutes. We ended up, the three of us ended up chatting for almost 4 hours. How about that?
Wow.
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 Yeah. And then one of the people that was there, I stayed at her and her husband's house. Even better.
Well, like I said, you're traveling around the country, and you're practicing what you're preaching.
Thank you. I
You're
I
welcome.
was just about to say, if you're not the product to your own process, or if you're not the product of your own service, then number one, shame on you. Number
Well,
two,
we all have a purpose in life. Sometimes it takes us a little longer to figure it out, and
right.
I definitely feel that sharing the knowledge and skills and
Mm-hmm.
my experiences with others in mentoring and teaching is
Oh
something
my
that I've
goodness.
been passionate about.
A wonderful Orlando area connection. Enrique. If you don't know Enrique, Marcy, he
Enrique, are we connected, Enrique?
I'm not sure, but he does an amazing show. His love is for everything Hawaii, and talking about extended meetings. Enrique, when I went to Florida last year, he came to pick me up. He was my Uber from the airport, and we went out. He took me to the hotel, and we walked to a restaurant. We got caught. Well, there was a torrential rainstorm halfway through our dinner libations, and Enrique didn't, and I didn't want to walk in the torrential rain back to the hotel. So we ended up hanging out for 3+ hours. so not necessarily planned that way, but we had such a blast. And he is an amazing expert with amazing leadership skills. So if you're not connected to Enrique, he is a must, Marcy. Next time you're in the Orlando area.
Well,
You
it's
guys
nice
need,
to meet you, Enrique, and
yeah.
I definitely will connect with you.
Yeah, and Enrique does. He's a live stream host as well. So if you kind of feel good through doing this with me, Enrique does a slightly different flavor of show, but he's really good too. So awesome guy, love him to death.
Well, it's great to meet you, and I love connecting with people on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
and it's such a great community. And you always learn something from each and every individual from all walks of life.
Absolutely. And I was just about to say that, people say to me, Bruce, why do you invest the time and effort into being a live stream host? Because you don't get compensated for it. And I say, I get to go to global university once or twice a week. And I get to go to global university for free once or twice a week. And so, yeah, you're my 230th interview covering about 250 different people, because some of them being bigger groups and not one-on-one. So yeah. So
Well, I'm honored that you selected me through a mutual friend of ours,
Mhm.
Melissa.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Why not? All right. So what do you got? Obviously, you got the book. So make sure you drop the comments in that. What else you got coming up? BB saying hi again. And yes. So what do you have coming up? Sorry, I'm trying to read the comments. I am useless at
Well,
multitasking.
I'm working on my, believe it or not, I've never had a website, and I'm working on my website, and I'm
Oh,
going to make sure that I have links for
okay.
learning.
Well, we
Yes.
need to talk offline about that. So, if I may, I didn't mean to cut you off. Don't invest in a Web 2 type of website, because
Okay.
if you don't invest in one of these type of websites in the next couple of years, you'll be extinct.
Well, thanks
So,
for the tip,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I work for a technology company, and
Web 2.
I would say I'm pretty passionate about technology, but when it comes to websites, I've looked at so many, and there's just a whole
No, well,
gamut of websites, especially for authors. And I
yeah,
don't want it to be like an author website. I want it to be more of an educational website. And I want to also post when I'm going to be doing my speaking engagements and my
yeah,
book signings and podcasts like
yeah.
today.
Yeah, so one of the initiatives behind my virtual reality store is Connect Shop Play. I wanted everything that I ever touch now or envision doing through universal expansion before I pass away. I wanted everything to be able to be in one place. So people don't have to go all over the planet or all over the internet to find stuff. So the strategy behind my VR store is one place communications. So, and if you're not on gonna at least on a Web 2.5 or going to a Web 3 type platform, you're gonna invest a lot of time and money in a website that is just gonna won't function in the next 2 to 5 years. So, not gonna.
Well, thank you for that tip, Bruce.
You're
Definitely,
welcome. You're welcome.
we'll chat after the
Yeah, absolutely.
podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a recording of the reveal that was done with Charlene Nichols. She facilitated that, and again, that's back to Yolanda and I sat down and I got to show her a little bit of the backstory behind. It looks pretty, but there's a lot of backstory behind the functionality, and I wanted to build something that would last for the next whenever until I pass away. I didn't want to build something
Mhm.
I have to go change up all again. So the metaverse, I'm in the omniverse city with my store. I've got one of the first solopreneur operating stores in the omniverse city. So yeah, absolutely.
So Yolanda, she says the websites on the Omniverse is the way to go. Thank you,
Correct.
Yolanda. I'll definitely do that. So
Yeah, and
recently, I became a certified Scrum Master, and I'm going to integrate agile methodology in my classes. So I'm also working
ooh,
on drafting some classes on that.
awesome. Well, I'm a Lean Six Sigma guy, so I can also maybe help you with a little bit of that too. So yeah, and again, that's the whole driver behind my virtual reality store. They kept making it longer, discombobulated, more complicated, and I kept saying to the guys, "Hey, guys, gals, simpler, faster, better. That's it. You just
I
got to
like
make
it.
it simpler, faster, better." And saying that is easy, and I know I drove them crazy because they'd show me stuff, and it's like, well, that isn't. So I should define simpler, faster, better. So simpler, faster, better in today's world, 3 clicks or less to get to do wherever you need to do, or 30 seconds or less if you're trying to find something physically. So that's what the golden rules are for simpler, faster, better. If you can't
So
do
you
that,
you could
or if you
probably help me a
go
lot
ahead,
with my class on the agile methodology and how to perform projects simpler, faster, better.
yeah, it's no problem. I've been doing it for a little while, so just 40 plus years. That's all.
I'd love to have you as a guest speaker.
Oh, I'd love to do that. Hey, I have 2 exercises that we could do straight away that would blow everyone's mind. It'd be like, oh, okay. Anyway, you talked about California. I have to do this shout out to Mr. Groovy. Mr. Groovy came to our LinkedIn local, and he has an AI driven company that makes these custom bobbleheads. And a couple of weeks ago, he sent, look at this. I've actually got a simpler, faster, better custom bobblehead, and he used the graphics from LinkedIn to make this. Isn't he cute?
I love it.
Yeah, and he got one for Tisha Marie Pelletier, and her brand is authentic with a touch of badass, and he put her in a Wonder Woman outfit, which is what she loves. so, so yeah, Mr. Groovy Lewis from Los Angeles area. He came all the way to Phoenix to our LinkedIn local, and I'm hoping to see him when I'm down in Long Beach area next week. So we'll see. Yep. So you never know. You can end up with a custom bobblehead just for.
Well,
Never
I
know what.
really enjoyed being out in California, and I got to see a beautiful community that my company just installed fiber optic network
Oh,
infrastructure there.
cool.
Mhm.
Where was it?
It was in Playa Vista.
Playa Vista. Lovely.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
right outside of LA
Yeah.
and not too far from, I got to see Google and Yahoo and YouTube and
Yeah. They're all
very
there.
exciting stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Marcy, I know it's getting later for you. If people want to learn more about you or find where to get your book, are you offering customized signed books for people?
Yes, I am. My book is available on Amazon
Okay.
and I am on LinkedIn.
Yes, you
And
are.
my email address is marcykravit@gmail.com.
Okay. All right.
And
Would you drop that in the comments after so that people can reach out to you? Or do you? I know you're pretty good on direct messaging here as well. So,
okay, so I will definitely make sure that I get that information.
yeah,
Uh,
you'll be able to drop it in the comments as soon as I send you the hashtag replay. So,
okay, great.
all, all good. All right. Well,
And
thank you, Mark.
I also want to say that I really enjoyed this, and I want to thank you very much because this is all about community, and we're all here to help support one another.
Yeah.
And it's just been an amazing opportunity. So thank you for inviting me today.
Well, you're welcome because you are the net product of what I call the 4 C's, which is conversations lead to communication, lead to community, and inside that community, you'll lead to people you want to collaborate with. So, pretty simple, not easy to do, simple to understand. and
Simpler, faster, better.
correct. And people want to jump the steps. They want to go straight from a conversation right to collaborate. They want to miss the 2 most important steps in between. Which is develop that connection, establish a community, and don't rush it. People are always in a hurry. When they rush it, they end up just tactically trying to sell you something instead of collaborating long-term strategically. It drives me nuts. But anyway. All right. So hold tight. Don't go away. I want to do my little brand story outtake. This is me.
You're frustrated that you have...
Oh, won't go. Why is that? All right. Hang on. Where is it? Okay. Banners, brand. It would help if I was on the right.
You're frustrated that you have no time and you just hate it. You lost your mind. You're running around the kids and the spouse, and the business that was once your passion has got you burnt out. So, consult with Bruce, the guy in the blue shirt. He'll help you find the truth so that you can do you first. See, it's all about simpler, faster, better, so you can save massive amounts of time and money instead of longing for the day where you can finally kick your feet up. Oh, do yourself a favor. Call up Bruce. He'll tell you about process cleanup.
There we go. Me in a nutshell. Did you see yourself in the white shirt at the end?
I have to say that there are times where we all needed you at some point. So I think it's great what you're doing. And a lot of times we just need to slow down and we need to have a balance. And sometimes we go down a rabbit hole.
Yep. Well, it's interesting just to finish up. Simpler, faster, better is kind of a misnomer. People don't realize you have to simplify first, and then you make what you simplify better. And once you've done that, then you will go faster. If you just try and go faster, it doesn't work at all. Because what happens, you go faster, you make it more complicated, and you don't do it, you make things worse. So simpler, faster, better. There's the sequence. Simplify, then make it better. And once you're comfortable with what you got, then you will go faster.
I always take a deep breath and meditate first.
Well, I guess I do in a way, but in a different way, as it were. So anyway, all right. So Yolanda, thank you, and all the other people for being in the comments. Oh, well, thanks, Grant. This was inspirational. You're welcome. Anytime. I have lots of live streams on my YouTube channel, so I usually drop the link in there tomorrow once this goes out on YouTube. So thanks again, Marcy. Thanks for everyone supporting us and being lively with the comments. It's always good to get lively comments on a live. All right, hang tight, Marcy. Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you.